I just do so well, but at nighttime I tend to like sit down at the TV with a bag of chips and I end up eating the whole thing and I don't even know what happened, et cetera. Okay, what are you feeling? Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, right? Like you're like, there's just too much on my plate. And so maybe it means we need to step back. We need to do something to cure that overwhelm. And that might be writing down the things that you're worried about and then looking at the potential outcomes and then saying, are there potential solutions that I already have in place that I can use in this situation? Because anxiety is not necessarily thinking something bad's going to happen, it's not knowing. Because if we know what's going to happen, and even if it's bad, we can plan for that. And so have that overwhelm. Be like, okay, I can look at, XYZ. Here's what I would do in XYZ. Okay, I don't have to worry about it. I can offload that now. I can start to regulate my system. Maybe you're feeling agitated. Okay, so maybe you need to do a little deep breathing. And so, again, in my model, the first thing we usually go after is what I call nervous system intelligence. And that is, are you in a state of fight or flight? Are you in a state of overwhelm? Are you in a state of fawn where you're like people pleasing? Okay, well, we probably need to do something to help regulate that. Because if not, you are going to regulate yourself whether you like it or not. You are going to do it through food or alcohol or shopping or whatever that thing is that makes you feel better in the moment. And if we want to change that, we need to get into a calm, regulated state before we can even approach that. And so I just tell people like start paying attention to these things. Start paying attention to when you do this. And then we have certain things we can do to triage that. Again, that's like breathing or cold therapy, like holding ice cube or putting a cold ice pack on your neck or going for a walk, pausing, urge surfing, etc. Or and then as you start to be able to stop it in the moment, then we need to start to look at these triggers. We need to start to look at our vulnerabilities. And how can we start to fix this long term? Well, we start to see, well, we got to break that chain at some point. We need to see where this is starting, where the problematic behavior is, what the outcome is. Is there anywhere in that place where I can pull a little link out of that chain and change the loop? And all we have to do is break that, and then we start to understand how that cycle occurs. Because then it leads to guilt and shame, and it leads to us repeating those things because now we feel dysregulated because we're shameful, etc. So it's really cyclical.